guys, how's it going? So today we're going to plant our first white blooming perennials in the moon garden, which I do believe we've decided to keep the moon garden theme for the west side garden that we created last year. So the one with the brick pathway. We also have 4 urns. They're beautiful. They have tulips blooming in them right now, or almost blooming in them. And then we also planted boxwoods and red point maples. So we got our infrastructure set up, but I didn't plant anything except for on the very ends. I planted a handful of different things on the ends, which are not white. But I was thinking of keeping like the whole center section kind of white blooms and different shades of green with maybe a little bit of blue leaved things here and there. So I don't like to pigeonhole myself though. I don't like to have strict rules in any area of my garden. So this thing might morph if I decide I'm not like digging all white and I want to add some other color in there. Like I can see myself adding some purple. I don't know. We'll just have to see how things evolve over time. But I do have 3 beautiful plants that I want to plant today. So I thought I would talk about them here in the greenhouse though, because it's so beautiful out here today. The temperature's perfect and the light when the sun is behind a cloud is awesome. So this is the first one. This right here is a Daisy May daisy. I have talked about these before. I have them planted in another area of our garden. The thing I really like about this plant is that unlike the traditional varieties of daisies, this one has better branching. So like I was just looking at, well, there's all kinds of different examples here. Every single branch, so see this one branch right here? It has 3 flowers on the top of that one branch. And then it also has another bud coming out right here, which makes this a more full plant. Like this one's just started blooming. So there's a lot of blooms on top, but you can see that it's gonna start forming blooms down below as well. And it just makes it the leaf to bloom ratio is kind of insane when you look at it like this. Like this is great for a moon garden because this one will show up like crazy because of how bold these blooms are. So it grows about 20-ish inches, maybe a little bit more than that tall, and then spreads out about a foot and a half. So it's just a really nice size perennial to put on the edge of a border, which I'm going to do in one spot. And then I think I might tuck another little grouping of them in back a little bit so I can do an understory layer underneath these in that one spot. So they are zone 5 through 9 and they attract bees and butterflies. In fact, there was just a bee on this one a minute ago. You do want to prolong the bloom time, you want to deadhead this one. So you don't have to, and because it's so much better branched and it gets so many more blooms than traditional varieties, it will bloom for longer than traditional varieties. But if you keep deadheading it, it will bloom through most of the season. So there is some maintenance involved in this one if you want to keep it going all season long. Unlike this next one, this is called White Wands Veronica. This is also one that I have showed before many a time because of how awesome it is. So I have a bunch of these planted behind our chicken coop and they do amazingly well. So the tag, I was reading the tag because I needed to brush up on the growing zones. I couldn't remember if it was a 4 through 9 or 4 through 8. And this is a zone 4 through 8. But it says it blooms early summer into midsummer, which for me, mine blooms all season long. Like it always has color on it all the time. So I've just loved this plant so much. And I am such a sucker for blooms shaped like this. And like, check this out. If you're putting white blooms together, this is what you want to look for. I'm going to try to hide behind the flowers so that it focuses on those instead of me. But see that nice, just spiky, kind of more fine looking bloom paired up with the bolder bloom is just such a beautiful combination. I just love it. So the white ones grows about, I want to say 1.5 feet tall, and then it spreads out further than that. Yeah, 20 inches. Mine might get a little bit wider than that, and it wants full to part sun, as does the Daisy May. Okay, and then the next one I'm going to plant is a Echinacea. So this is called PowWow White. And the thing that makes me love this one is that it's white, but it's kind of got a chartreusey kind of look to it. And the tops of them, this part here, the seed head, is so absolutely gorgeous, and it adds a little bit of color without adding in bloom color. And once these blooms are done, you can leave the seed heads on there and they look beautiful all the time. It also grows about 2 feet tall and about 1.5 feet wide, and I believe it's a zone 3 through 8. And it's a late bloomer, so it starts usually midsummer and then goes until the season is over. And I actually think I'm gonna pair these two together out there. I might pair some of these with the daisies too. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I have no plan. I need to just take the plants out there and kind of fuss with them a little bit and move them around. But you do need to make sure, I need to make sure in this moon garden situation, that I've got lots of different bloom times and lots of different foliage structures. So I want to add in some grasses and some evergreen and maybe some bold leaf, like some caladiums would be beautiful, have some white in them, and we'll see what happens. But I just need to make sure that there's a lot of different variation going on to keep it really interesting. Okay, so those are the 3 I'm focusing on today. And honestly, they're probably going to look like they're out just in an island of mulch right now because there's nothing else to plant them around, really. So we're going to go out there and place them and see what we can do. Oh my gosh, you guys, just seeing this much color, and it's not even like there's so much more to do, but just this much makes me feel like hopeful for this area, and I think it looks so pretty. I did bring out a couple extra plants that I didn't plan on planting, so let me show you those. This is a type of Calamagratis called Overdum. So it's got the green leaf with the white variation on the outside, and it grows 1 to 2 feet wide. Get the tag for you, and about 5 feet tall. There we go, zone 4 through 8. But I do want to have some grassy texture in here because I like the movement in the wind, and the fact that it has the white variegation is awesome. So I do have more of those that I will be adding in, but just the one today. So now I want to explain how I'm doing my drifts here, because the plants that are surrounding it, while they don't look amazing, not all of them do right now. This is the blue kazoo spirea that I transplanted last fall because we got a new AC unit, and it is coming back. It's rebounding. There's new growth. There's a ton of new growth at the base. I might end up cutting this whole thing back to the base and just forfeiting the blooms this year so that it can grow fresh. But that is full size. This is not. This will grow quite significantly, but it's fairly slow. And I don't mind planting some things close to it that are easy to dig up and move so that I can enjoy a full looking space right from the gate. And then I like to start the drift kind of skinny, like to kind of widen it out, and then it's going to tuck back behind this. So it's not just like a glob and then a glob and then a glob. It's like kind of easy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like easy movement from one thing to the next. And things kind of tuck in and around and behind and in front of each other. This is when it's helpful to have Aaron out here. He helps me explain things way better than I could myself. And then the Veronica, kind of the same thing. So I've got 7 daisies here and 5 Veronica, and I kind of start thicker and then end by tucking it in front of this winterberry holly, which only grows, I think, by 3 by 3, which I'm gonna move these a little bit closer to the walkway so they can kind of spill over the sides and soften the edge of the bricks. And that will mean that one will move over a little bit too. But either way, I kind of want everything to marry together really well in the end. And I have more up here. So as I approach the vegetable garden, you can see I've got some daisies right here, just 3 of them. I brought out a ruby glow euphorbia because it's beautiful. I had that wintering over in a terracotta pot in the greenhouse. And then I've got more of the white wands, Veronica, and the Echinacea. And they are kind of front and center to this entryway. And I think that's really important in this spot. I need something that's a strong performer, that always looks good, that needs very little maintenance, because you enter and look at that kind of first. So I've got a grouping of Veronica with the Echinacea behind. There is a Showtime crabapple up above that's looking gorgeous and about ready to bloom. We've got an instant karma elderberry, and so I'm not going to put another one of those grasses over here because this has got our variegation. I might tuck a totem pole grass right back in here, and it's got really nice icy blue foliage. So all I have left to do is plant all of these things. So let me do that and then we'll take a look. really pleased with how it's looking so far. So let's have a little tour here. First off, I'll give you a closer up look. Oop, the sun's gonna come back out. Closer up look at this Ruby Glow Euphorbia, because I just think the structure of this plant is so beautiful. It looks beautiful in this terracotta pot. Very simple and full, incredibly low maintenance. So I will probably pop a dripper in there if this is where I decide to keep it. I do have one more that looks just like this in the greenhouse ready to come out. And then right across the sidewalk there is a little grouping of daisy maize. And then, you know, I said I think already there's a butterfly bush there. These are Ambridge Rose, not Abraham Darby. I don't know why I keep messing that up, but they're still in the same color family, but these are much softer than the Abraham Darbys. Much more of a soft peach. And then I do have some purple blooming perennials, I can't remember the name of them, right back here. So there will be a little bit of color in this section here. And then here's our little patch of white to start off with. When I look at the rest, I'm like, oh my word. But you know what, you gotta start somewhere. So I think this is gonna be a really cute little patch. I do have a couple ideas of what I wanna put right in here, and then maybe some white sunflowers in with that totem pole grass. I do have some white obedient plants right in there as well. So I think really great start. I do need to come out here and tack down the drip tubing because it's kind of like I accidentally snagged it with my foot and lifted it up, and I had a hard time kind of trying to tack it back down. But I need to do that, and we do still need to do a mulch layer because you can see a bunch of the drip tubing already. All right, let's head down to the end. It looks so far away in the camera, but honestly, I can see that big pop of white at the daisies from all the way back at the vegetable garden, and it makes me so happy. And we are getting a little bit of color on these Vidal mix. They're kind of a soft yellow right now. I don't remember them doing that last year. It's possible they could age a little bit more white, but we'll give them a little bit more time. Isn't that looking so cute? Especially once it starts to fill in. And I love that grass over there. I think it makes it look so fresh. And I really want to repeat like another grass over here and then maybe one right in here. But I think that this is just going to be perfect for this little curved section here. Isn't that nice? And then the winterberry holly should be leafing out here soon, and I've got 3 of those in this section. And then I do have some hot and cold Nephofia, which are like peach, orange, yellow. And then I planted the Roald Dahl roses, which are a kind of a peachy orange color right here. So there is some color on this end as well. So anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. I'm just so excited to have some color over here and to have something in the ground over here. And you know, this is just the start. I mean, I'm not gonna fill it up with everything permanent this year. Like I said, I'll be doing some white pumpkins and some white, not gourds, they're a squash. And then I've got some annuals I'm gonna seed. So white sunflowers, white zinnias, white cosmos, and that'll make me feel like not in such a rush to fill it up with permanent things, and that way I can take my time and make good decisions. And while I know that I'm not gonna make every right decision in the beginning, I'll have to move stuff around. I know it. That's how I roll. Like, because I don't like to work off of a plan, I'll put something in the ground that I really like this year, but then next year when I decide to put something next to it, I need to shift things around and move it. But I like that whole process, and it's a refining process, and I just take great joy in that the whole thing. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.